Come with me for a tour level fitting for the brand new Titleist T-Series irons. I'm Jack Backhouse, host of NCG Your Golf, and last month I went down to Woburn to visit Titleist HQ and get fit. While we were there, Titleist gave us an amazing presentation about all the new irons and the tech involved, as well as letting me hit all the new heads they have to offer. Now we do have written reviews of all the irons on the NCG website, which you'll be able to see in the description, and we will be bringing you a video review of all the irons very soon. But before we get into that, we need to see what clubs I get fit into. Right, let's get into it.
The interesting one is you only play half sets. So with the 150s from 7 iron up, you get the muscle channel.
Yeah.
8 iron down, you don't.
Yeah.
So then if you go mixed set, like
Some might.
pitching wedge, 8 iron, 6 iron, you will get better loft at like that launch parameter that you're talking about. But having a muscle channel maybe for you in a 6 iron might feel too hot versus your 8.
Right.
So it might pop on you a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So
I generally tend to play odds 3, 5, 7, 9.
okay.
Those aren't the ones that's in my bag right now, but 99% of my golf is 3, 5, 7, 9.
Okay.
So I think what happened last time was when I was fit,
Yeah.
I was fit almost. This is totally my own fault because of how awkward I am when I play golf, right? But I was definitely fit hitting full shots, and then I went out onto the course, hit a few knockdowns that just seemed to go really low forever.
Okay.
And I was a bit like, oh, it's a bit worrying that, because I sort of almost couldn't get the ball to stop.
Yeah. Because they were coming
out a bit hot for how I felt it should be coming out, if you like. So what I'm really encouraged here by is like the fact that the ball's straight away going way higher with more spin.
Yeah. Okay. Is that the flight you'd like to see?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, so that's better because it's up. That was a bit higher than the previous one, I think. Certainly launching. It felt to me.
Would you say that's your normal divot pattern as well? You tend to take a little bit.
Oh, there's some divots.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
There's definitely some divots.
How does it feel when you're swinging though?
Great, good.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, I like the balance of the club feels right. The sort of the shaft,
Cool.
I would say, feels. How heavy is that?
130.
Is it?
Did you notice any differences?
Well, it's heavier, definitely heavier than mine.
Okay. In a good way or a bad way? Just a different way?
Just different. I would, again, preference or sort of historically, since I had my KBS experience, my Project X experience, which was too heavy and too stiff, I've sort of almost always then preferred lighter.
Okay.
So if someone...
then you get to a point where it's too light?
Well, great question, don't know.
Because yours are the dollar tapers, right? So
you're going to tell me something I don't...
grams.
Yeah.
So there's a 10 gram difference between what you're using now
and
that.
Yeah.
Like when you say light to heavy, I always prefer lighter. That'd be like 95.
Right. Yeah.
Would be a reference.
So when I was hitting the 250 and 350, they were definitely lighter shafts.
100%.
And that's when I start knifing it when it gets too light.
Because you don't time it well.
Because I don't time it. What I would say is whatever the S400 tour issue things that I've got in my other T100s, like my divots are definitely deeper with that thing.
S4s, 135 roughly.
Yeah, so they sort of
What did you say, tour issues?
Tour issue.
Yeah.
So they sort of felt too heavy.
Yeah.
And that's when I was getting these super low, like maybe deeper divot, lower launching, hot shots that I sort of didn't perfectly. I didn't love it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like you get me in my half set life. So that feels definitely higher.
Does it feel like effort to find it when you're swinging, to find strike?
No.
Good.
Does
it feel stable?
Off the face.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know whether that shaft doesn't feel just maybe a smidgen heavy.
Okay.
Do you mind if I just chip one?
Yeah. What, like a knockdown?
Yeah. Just as like a. How far did that go?
180.
All right. So if you sort of said, all right, well, I'm going to hit 160, take 20 yards off it. Probably taking too much off that, I would say.
171.
Oh God. What was the trap? What was the? How high? 90.
90.
Too much. Maybe 160ish. Yeah.
162.
Yeah.
Coming in at 75 feet.
Yeah.
But I think for,
So that's probably okay, isn't it?
I mean, in a nutshell,
we-
you're going to find it very difficult to take an iron like a 6 iron or a 7 iron, take 20 yards off it and still get 90 feet.
Yeah. And that's so. The shot
Whereas I can build you a full set that will do it
Yes.
all, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
obviously play
most of them I
much
got
in the
90% of my
half-set
golf
world.
with a half set. Yeah. So I just appreciate that's me.
Yeah. Right, let's change that out a little bit for you. So that's 80 feet.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're.
No, it's not impossible, is it?
It's not impossible to do.
No.
It's just obviously like at 150, you're probably hitting what?
Oh, yeah, I'm changing club.
9.
9.
Yeah,
Yeah. Felt good off the face though. That.
that's good.
Like the full shots that were solid, like just feel like rockets off the 150. They just like the launch is great up in the air.
All right, let's see what you feel about this one.
So it's a funny thing because what I would say is like I don't, the distance is just not even a thing in my head really.
No, it's just
It's not a consideration when I look at irons.
okay.
I'm sort of far more interested in like do I feel comfortable
Being able to play.
taking it off,
Yeah,
as opposed to, oh look at that, it went 190. I sort of
yeah,
I
correct.
just like that gives me the fear that I'm just going to have problems.
The
sort of.
workability side of it.
Yeah. Felt quite good through the swing, that one. Couldn't tell you why.
Okay. Just back to full stock shots, yeah?
Yeah. That one felt very, I don't know, probably more stable, like there was less flex.
Yeah. Would it make you more confident that you could hit the shot full?
Yes, I think it's probably more of like a good full shot feeling,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Like I feel like I would have hit that quite hard if I wanted to.
172, 51 land angle, 6/8 spin, 108 feet.
It's pretty good, that.
Well,
isn't it?
107.8.
Pretty good. Is that still a 150? Interesting.
What do you think I've done?
Have you added loft?
Yeah.
What loft is this now?
This will be 32 added 2 degrees, 34.
Ah, brilliant. Yeah, love that.
What will also be good is the offset will change as well. So obviously when you weaken loft on an iron, the offset it disappears a little bit.
Oh,
So
right.
if you like straighter lines,
Yeah.
weakening a T150, especially with your divot pattern, because you're saying that with your divot pattern you can get a little bit steep on it, take a slightly bigger divot.
Yeah.
Maybe when you're leaning on it a little bit as well.
100%, yeah,
So
yeah.
adding a little bit more loft also adds bounce, same as wedges, right? So if we add loft or take loft away on wedges, we lose a degree of bounce for every degree of loft, or gain it.
Yeah.
Same happens with the irons. So if we put 2 degrees more loft onto this, you get a little bit more bounce so that you could feel like you're not going to dig as much.
Yeah,
Picks it out the air a bit better.
that was good. Whatever that one was.
106, 177, spin was down a smidge, but you turned it over a little bit.
Slight pull.
Yeah, okay, do 2 more.
It's good launch though, isn't it? That
Yeah.
It's
So you're 175 on average, 50 land angle, 6/4 spin at 107 feet.
what's the magic land angle number, do you think?
Between 45 and 50.
Right.
So it depends on where you play as well. Like I always prefer for a player of your speed being on the higher side.
Yeah.
One, if you've got that flight,
Yeah.
you can take it down.
Yes.
And we're just speaking about the whole setup of your bag.
Yeah.
So if I can get you 50, like if we start pushing 52, 53, obviously in the UK that's going to get battered in the wind.
Yeah.
You maybe won't love that as much.
Yeah.
But 50 degrees, and then your ability to flight it down if you need to is a better spot for you to be in.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I like that. Love that. God's sake. I hear that
Don't allow
shot.
bad ones.
In my head, I'm like, you're such a disappointment. That's like my childhood trauma coming out there.
Just a bad swing.
It's that, so I can hear my dad. You're disappointing. Oh.
Yeah, okay, so let's go back to this. So you've got dollar taper, but you've got it in 120 stiff.
Yeah.
So I've gone KBS
It's an interesting.
Tour
It's yeah.
in X.
Yeah.
A little bit more weight.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's more the profile.
Right.
So like where the shaft loads for you and where you can time it.
Yeah.
The head I quite like. I think having that added loft will make you more confident. That
Yeah. I totally agree.
Just
like
go into the.
I love the way it looks. I love the way it looks behind the ball. The added loft, it just is like suits me to the ground.
I think anything we can do to gain as much height without losing distance for you is going to be a massive key. So as long as we can stay around 175 to 180 and gain as much height as possible for your half set compilation, that's going to be in a good spot.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's back into the KBS.
Yeah.
So it's a much better spot to be in.
Yeah.
And you know, we said, I think we said
just feels right.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, just felt right. That was the one. Whatever that is.
So, whenever we do these,
why
fits,
X over stiff then? Is that just for? Because one of the, I appreciate that what I've got are currently stiff, and I sort of go, well, I don't really know why that is, but I sort of quite like it. Or that's the shaft I've sort of become to like because I had the Project X and hated it.
Okay. So it's probably the profile that you like. Now, I test weight over flex first and foremost.
Right.
So it's the weight that the player can deliver and then the profile. They're more important than the flex. The reason being, no manufacturer makes the same flex.
Oh.
Okay, so there isn't like a standard in the industry at like,
right.
This is what an X flex is, this is what an A flex is. It doesn't exist. Everyone has their, so you can pull two shafts out that play identical and they've got different labels.
Right.
Okay, in terms of like their flex.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm going to go where the profile is, where it's stable. For you, it sounds like KBS, you like it because it's got a bit more play in the midsection, but it's firm handle and tip.
Okay.
Okay, so you load it better that way. When we do X1 or we do PX, you wouldn't have liked because it's a
stiff
rock.
all the way, yeah.
So you feel like it's too hard to work, but you need the stability. So it's where you need the stability.
Right.
X1 is stiffer down the bottom end, which you said you picked up on.
Yeah.
It's stiffer down the bottom end. That's where you felt it was stable, but it didn't come out as good. Going back into KBS for you is just.
Wonder if the.
And it's a feel thing, right? So the head design and the way we've added the loft gives us everything that we need.
Yeah.
The tungsten gives us all the stability we need.
Yeah.
You've got the visuals you want. You've got the yardages you want. You've got the height that you want. The shaft is just for a consistency standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you imagine it like a car, the head's your engine.
Yeah.
And the shaft is everything else that makes the engine go really well. So if you get any component out, it doesn't perform as well, but it's still a V8 engine, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you put a Fiat Punto and then Formula One everything,
yeah.
that's like the most efficient Punto engine you're ever going to have.
Yeah.
But it's never going to go fast, right?
Yeah.
Couple more here.
Ooh, a bit necky. Not having to definitely work for the ball though,
100%.
compared to that the X1.
So like you drop off there, you've hit that right out the neck, yeah?
Yeah.
And it's gone 161, which we'd expect from a miss hit.
Yeah.
Still got 90 feet in the air.
Yeah. Oh, it's not horrific, is it? But
No.
it's not a.
But it's a miss hit. It's what you're going to expect.
Yeah.
However, the left to right isn't. So it's not like you've hit it out the neck and it's disappeared off the planet right or left. Yeah. Normally
still a
with
pretty
an
good
iron,
ball
you would tend
speed.
to miss it left if you hit it out the heel.
Yeah. Ball speed's still decent as well.
Yeah.
For a neck.
See, for me, when you do the full committed, that gets through the turf really well.
Yeah, it does.
Ball speed's good, launch is good, spins at 6.8, land angles at 49.6. You're 100 feet in the air at 172.
Yeah.
So you've got room to play with there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you hit I want you to hit the knockdown shot. I feel like sometimes whether the player can do it, Adam Scott's really good at doing it. If you watch him, like when he's playing into wind, he's happy to hit a 5-iron from like 140 yards. Because it takes the spin off and flights it low.
Yeah.
And he can slow his swing down to do it. Some players really struggle at taking that much speed off
Yeah.
and still keeping strike. So it's where it'll be interesting to see if the setup now allows you to hit that knockdown shot. Yeah. So there you go. 125 ball speed down to 118 roughly.
Yeah.
Yep, 118. 165.
Still
so
spinning plenty, that, isn't it?
Exactly. Still retaining 6.2 spin, still landing at 45.8.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's still 85 feet in the air.
Yeah.
So that's where your window's better. Nice.
That was nice. I enjoyed that. Slight pull.
But there you've dropped, see? 114,
Still
157,
80 feet, yeah.
6,000 spin, 45 land angle. So you've hit 3 different distances.
Yeah.
And you've gone from 49.6
Yeah.
to 45 at the lowest.
Still with good spin.
Well, that's our buffer window, right? So we
Yeah.
talked about our descent angle has to be between 45 and 50. So if your knockdown shot is at 45,
Yeah.
you haven't got that issue that we've been talking about at the beginning.
Yes.
With, I feel like I can't flight it down because
Yeah, it doesn't stop.
it doesn't stop. The other benefit is you're retaining spin on them.
Yeah.
So when you're knocking them down, they've still got 6,000 spin. So even if they are a bit flatter, they've still got more chance of staying in the air for longer
Yeah.
and potentially holding the green better than if they're spinning at like 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense?
Yeah, that's good.
Perfect.
Cool.
Right, so you said you go 3, 5, 7, 9.
Yep.
Okay, so let's check the ball speed gains in the 5. And then what we will do is we will bend it 2 weak.
Love that.
And then what we're doing here is obviously now you'll get to see the offset and how
Yeah.
it'll look behind the ball. And then
It almost
also,
somehow looks thinner, top line somehow there.
well, imagine if the top line situates like that and then you move the top line, you see less of the back of the top line.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's subtle, but
Yeah,
it will
yeah.
happen, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, so full shot 125. So we work off a 5 mile an hour increment when we're doing irons.
So 10.
So 10.
135.
So 135 is what we need. But what we also need to achieve is making sure that we still get our 100 peak height.
Yep.
We don't want to lose any peak height doing this.
Smash that.
134.3, so it's nearly there.
Yeah.
97, 207. Go one more.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, when we
like
do
Paul.
this, we can't build it up in
No.
exactly the same spec from a shaft perspective.
Yeah.
So that's where we lean on the ball speed. If the ball speed's there and the height's there, the head will work.
Okay.
Smidge thin?
Thin.
Thin at 131.
Yeah. No. The off-centre strikes on these are just 1,000% better than the off-centre strikes on mine. There's no doubt about that.
You want to clip that and then put it like on
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's it. Titleist can use that.
Nice.
Can't. Yeah. Not going to get any better than that. Oof.
Good. You're fully committed to that.
Yeah, I
one
hit
as
that
well.
hard. I hit that hard. Yeah.
So you can see 104 feet.
Yeah. Good land angle.
Spins a little bit down, but doesn't matter if we're gaining 46 on the land angle.
Yeah.
The other one there, 44, little pull, 4,000 spin, a little bit up there. You can work with that a little bit because potentially where that's striking, if it is a little bit heely or if it's not ideal from where we want it to be, you might pick up spin. But for you as a player, the ball speed's there, built up in your spec. Will you deliver it the same way as your 7? Most likely. Will we get the flight that we want? Yeah, because we're getting the flight now,
Yeah.
and it's not in the exact spec that yours would be. So 5 iron I'm happy with.
Yeah.
And then you said you want 3?
3. So do you think 3 in the 150? Do you think 3 in the?
Yeah,
that
I'm
might-
thinking more like if we go into like a utility for your 3, because we do a 3 in a T1, but obviously with you being in T150,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
need
yeah.
to look at cross blending that somewhere else. And again, so if we're working off 10, now where we're cross blending, we're probably going to see a little more jump.
Yeah.
So ideally,
There's gonna be 150.
closer to 150. Well, yeah, so if
You
you're
think?
135, you'd be closer to 150, and then we'd have the ability to weaken it,
Yeah.
therefore producing more loft,
Yeah.
getting rid of a little
Sounds
bit
good.
of offset. Not quite as clean of a strike.
Wasn't too bad.
Okay, one more.
Was that? You saying that was fat?
It sounded a touch fat.
Call a spade.
You want it,
That was fat. That was fat. Just say it. Just say it out loud.
We're not doing none of that YouTube stuff now.
No, no.
Where you just hold the finish. And
No.
It looks great.
Sort of went quite well for a fat.
That's nice, 145.
Yeah.
But you see that height is at 74 feet
Yeah.
on both of those, right?
Yeah. It's flat, isn't it? It's like, it's a tee shot club, that, isn't it?
It's
not,
coming out a bit flatter, right, for you.
Yeah.
So then if you move into the U505,
We can see more loft. More launch.
ideally,
Oh.
I can't say we will because every player's a bit different. If they see a slightly different shape or model, they might hit down on it more.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you just spit in my eyeline there. Yeah.
He's come after you solid there. Is it a bad shot and it's your fault?
I know, but you're in my eyeline. Like I can't. I've got no distance perception over.
I'll tell you
in
what,
that.
stand over here.
Yeah, got no distance perception over there.
That's nice.
Yeah, you see, as soon as you moved, I was fine. That was a decent strike, bit of a block.
Yeah, so 220 carry on that one,
Yeah.
98 feet of height.
Yeah. I'm completely not offended by how that looks behind the ball.
No,
That other one almost was like quite small, in a funny sort of way.
yeah, okay, that's a good. So it's almost like for you, when you get to that top end, you kind of want to see a little bit more
Well, it's certainly.
blade length to just
I,
make it easier.
I have a funny relationship with driving irons.
Okay. It's interesting you call them driving irons.
It's what I would call them.
Yeah.
Because it's like
the reason why I wouldn't refer to it as a driving iron is because if you think of Titleist as a whole, and when they do the R&D and what things are designed for, they all have a purpose,
Yeah.
but they have to match in with everything. So if we're fitting irons to the 3Ds, we can't then have a driving iron that doesn't follow suit.
Yeah.
So like, because you wouldn't be able to then blend it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
You're looking for peak height, you're looking for distance control, you're looking for consistency of flight.
So I think what I would say is these clubs have primarily just been tee shot clubs.
Yeah.
Because like, again, the same problem is they go so flat and
Yeah.
so hot that
Yeah.
I just would never, I'd rather stand there and smash a 5-iron
Okay.
with the idea that at least that's going to stop when it lands. Where as soon as I historically have gone to a club like this in the bag, I sort of think, well, I can't hit this at a green unless I know it's got 40 yards of space to run onto the green, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. So on this one, just hit me a stock shot, like not trying to flight it up, not trying to flight it low. Just a stock shot so we can see what it does through the air. Because if you've got like a relationship with this model of club, because you're used to
basically a
seeing them
shank.
go low.
Yeah. I
and
know,
you
well,
try
sort of
and
it.
add the
Well, that's what I
flight
feel
to
like I'm
it,
doing
yeah?
a bit of, is I'm trying to hit it up in the air a bit more. Like that.
Like
So
that.
That's like,
So like a committed shot like your irons
yeah, it's gone plenty high enough, that, hasn't
comes out plenty high, has the ball speed that we want at 145.
it? Yeah,
Because if your 5 irons at 135, 10 mile an hour to a 3 iron, it's 145.
yeah,
Your land angle's at 44,
yeah,
102 feet of
Yeah,
height.
yeah, yeah, it's
Like it's all there, the
perfect,
numbers
yeah.
are all there.
yeah.
Yeah. So the cross blend isn't an issue whatsoever.
No.
I think your history with the model of
Yes.
club is what's holding those shots back a little bit.
I had
And
a
actually-
712U.
Yeah, yeah.
That was like great, but it would just went like knee
Comes
high.
out like that.
It was a 2 as well. It wasn't a 3, so like it. Sometimes, occasionally, I get sent a 2,
And
I
it comes out like a
I'd
hot
like
rocket.
as soon as Paul gives me it, I'm like, well, I'm never going to use this.
Yeah.
It's just going to come out waist high because I've always hit the ball really low as a general rule. So.
Well,
like,
the
thinking
thing
that I
is,
can hit it-
you're hitting that off of the deck, right? And
Yeah.
it's still got that land angle of it. So T1 up, like you were going to hit it off a long par 3. It's got plenty height.
That's loads of height.
Yeah, loads of height.
Yeah.
Ball speed's there.
Yeah.
We're happy with the ball speed.
Yeah.
114
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
in
yeah.
at 46.
Yeah, that's
Like,
perfect.
so it's not quite the same as the history of the clubs. that
No,
you've
no,
had in
no,
the
not
past.
at all. Not at
So
all.
this is where the tech's all working in to get the ball to launch in the air, create the ball speed we need. And it's just a great story from a cross-blending perspective
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
You know, backs
Definitely.
on to Ben's comment about, 90% of our tour players are cross-blending their irons somewhere. And then you can still knock it down
That's my
because
chaser.
you've got the height.
Yeah.
So the key is giving you all of that height so that
Yeah,
you can
I
vary
agree.
that.
I agree.
Yeah?
We're on the same page. So I've been fitting to the Titleist T150 irons, which I'm really excited to get a chance to get out on the golf course. I think these could be really good, a much higher ball flight and a little bit easier to hit than what I have been using. And of course, whenever you get some product from Titleist, you know it's not going to disappoint. Thanks a lot for watching and keep an eye out for the full iron review coming soon.